To you, HawkFanatic.com is brought to you by Patrick Eads and the staff at Deary Brothers Ford on Mormon Trek. Steve Anderson, Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Mike's E-Keys for Cars. GT Car and his great crew at Supple's Building and Remodeling. Supple's Flowers, the home of 1-800-800-ROSE. The Midtown Family Restaurants. Hertine and Stocker Jewelers, 101 South Dubuque Street, downtown Iowa City. Diamond Dreams Sports Academy. Senior Benefits. Premier Automotive in North Liberty. The Oxyoke Inn in the Amanas. Streets Maintenance, which will be making an appearance at my home today. Fix my my drain problem.
Yeah?
Yeah, so...
you couldn't fix that?
No, how am I going to fix it? Well, I plunged.
Buy some gear.
I plunged it.
Yeah,
but
it wasn't good enough.
I don't think so. I don't think it is. I want him to snake it. Snake it. Dr. Lance Forbes, Diamond Dental in Cedar Rapids, and Big Dog Tech Solutions. Here's Tom Suter, along with Pat Harty from HawkFanatic.com and Coach Don Patterson.
All right, Coach. Well, we saw a game Saturday between Iowa and Minnesota that we all expected. Expected it to be over after the first 10 minutes of football. What a incredible first quarter that played by the University of Iowa Hawkeyes. Very enjoyable as a fan. What would you think of the first quarter of football Saturday?
Well, it was a great way to start the game, that's for sure, Tom. And I flashed back on a game in 1985. You might remember, you might have to go 40 years back to find a similar game. We played a very good Illinois team that day, and the score at the half was 49-0.
Yeah.
So it's rare when you see a game like that. But I use two words to describe the game: total domination. And it really was. It was over before it really got started.
Yeah. It was, and marched straight down the field, 75 yards on their first possession, had a punt return for a touchdown, a pick six, all in the first quarter.
So, Don, does it say more about Iowa?
I love that first drive. Great mix of run and pass. We had 9 plays, 5 runs, 4 passes. Gosh, I don't even know if we ever got to third down. I can't recall.
I've got the stats.
But it was a well-executed drive. And then, of course, 3 and out on the part of the defense.
Yeah.
And here we come again. We only had a field goal in that possession. But then, as you know, we're up 10-0. And then on their first play of their second possession, they were crazy enough to throw the ball up. And Lutmer gets it, and Lutmer knows what to do with it.
There actually was a 3rd and 11, and Gronowski completed a pass to Gill for 11 yards for a first down. Other than
that, I'd forgotten there was a 3rd down in there.
Yeah, so it was.
It was a wonderful drive, and what I was glad to see, it was obvious. We talked about it going in. We've got to get the passing game fired up here, and Jim made an effort to do that with his play calling. The best example, of course, would be the touchdown to Reese. But there were other plays that were called. You could see Martin looking downfield. And you start off, of course, by trying to make a big play. And if you have to check the ball down, you do it. And oftentimes you saw that. But the point is, we were trying to engineer plays to put us down the field with the football.
I mean, they had a long of 28 to Weechin, a long of 29 to Vanderzee. Ortworth had a 19-yarder. So, yeah, they had some at least explosive plays for Iowa. Now, I want to did this game say more about Iowa or more about Minnesota? Because I'm looking at Gopher fans. Some of they're not happy. PJ did not have that team ready to play.
No, he didn't. And the bottom line, I guarantee Kirk feels this way. His job is to have the team ready to play, and all the position coaches feel that same way. One team was fairly ready to play, and the other team wasn't. And if you're a Gopher fan, you have to assign some blame to the coaching staff.
Well, it looked like the quarterback at times had no clue if Iowa was in man-to-man or zone. When he forced that pass to that Lutmer, you knew that was going to get picked. What was he looking at?
Yeah, he thought it was an isolation on our linebacker on Shire. Shire had coverage from underneath, and that's why the perception was if I just have to beat Shire, I'll just put the ball up and over to my tight end. Well, the only problem with that is Lutmer was reading his eyes.
He was right there, yeah.
And Lutmer did a great job of tagging the ball, high pointing the ball. And the thing I enjoyed so much, you've heard me say before, Pat, these defenders, when you intercept the pass, for God's sakes, don't run out of bounds. Because offensive guys don't spend any time tackling. And sure enough, Lutmer goes right through their team. There was one guy that absolutely had him wrapped up, and Lutmer spins out of the tackle, goes on in for the touchdown.
Yep. Yeah, no, he's really emerging as a really good defensive back. He's only a redshirt sophomore. He's got finesse. He can play physical. He's got decent size. He looks like, and I'm not going to, I guess I'm putting the cart, Don, he looks like someone who someday is going to probably be playing in the NFL. I think Entringer, Wampka, and Lutmer will all be playing in the NFL someday. And I think you saw that Saturday. Now, the other thing, Don, and we've talked about it all the time, Minnesota had 24 net rushing yards on 25 carries. To me, that Iowa wasn't great, but they still had 133 net yards. Kamari still had 75. He averaged 5. Wasn't that a huge difference? Minnesota just had no RPO ability. Iowa knew exactly what they were going to do, it seemed like.
Yeah, and the best of the Gophers, you might have noticed, of course, their best running back.
He was out.
Had one carry. He was in there for one carry.
One carry for 1 yard.
Mysteriously, he just left the game, and it appeared on the bench they're asking him, "Are you okay?" And for whatever reason, he bowed out. I think he had a hamstring issue a few games ago.
He's been hurt for a big chunk of the year, yeah.
Yeah, and so, but you wonder, does Taylor simply not want any part of what's going on? Because it was obvious one team was more than ready to play, and the other team wasn't.
Well, and the other thing is, let's say Moulton didn't play Saturday. I think Jazz Patterson or somebody else could have easily had 15 carries for 75 yards. I mean, Iowa has a good job of running back by committee, and Minnesota, I don't know, I just was stunned at how bad Minnesota looked. The tackling in open field, they had no pass rush. I'm not ready to anoint Iowa as this great team yet either. I mean, I just thought Minnesota looked terrible.
They did, and compare it to how good their defense played against Nebraska the week before. They look like two completely different units.
And they do say home field advantage means a lot for Minnesota. They play way better at home, like all teams. But, Don, I mean, if you're P.J. Fleck, I will give him credit. He said, hey, this is on me. This all starts with me. I make every decision. He did take accountability after the game. But how do you not?
Yeah. Well, the bottom line, I flash back on what Coach Fry used to sometimes say. He might say, if we've had a really impressive win, I'm worried about some of our guys getting the case of the big head. That's what he called it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to bring them back down to earth. You got to remind them again, there's going to be a war against Minnesota. We have to be ready. We can't rest on our laurels just because we played well one weekend. We still have to go out and do it the next. One of the advantages Iowa has, Kirk and the coaches get credit for this, but the players ultimately get the credit. They show up with a consistently good effort. They very seldom have a flat game, if you will. And the good teams aren't up and down. The good teams are consistent with how they play. And Minnesota, I think they had some young guys that simply thought they'd just show up and beat up on Iowa a little bit like they beat up on Nebraska. Doesn't happen that way. You got to bring it every weekend.
No, I think this Iowa team right now is better than last year's team because last year's team did do what you just said. I mean, they laid an egg at UCLA. They laid an egg at Michigan State. I'm not saying this team's going to win out. I don't see it laying any more eggs. I think in these last 4 games, the other 4 teams are going to have to beat this Iowa team because I don't think it's going to beat itself. Now, I mean, it's still going to be interesting to see. They've got an extra week to prepare for Oregon. I watched Oregon a little bit against Wisconsin. They didn't look very good. I mean, they looked like they knew they were going to win the game. They just wanted to get out of there. I mean, did you watch any of it, Don?
I did watch some of it. I still have it on TiVo. I'm going to go back and watch the entire game. But it looked like Oregon was just kind of going through the motions.
Yeah. And their quarterback got hurt.
I'm sorry?
The quarterback was out for a while. Something happened with, I don't think it's anything long-term, but I think he got hit in the chin or something. I can't remember what it was. But no, Wisconsin punched him in the mouth.
Thing. I don't think it'll have any long-term
No, I don't think
effect.
it will, especially 2 weeks from now.
I think it might have been a broken nose.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But Wisconsin's front seven held its own throughout the game. I mean, it was 21-7. I think they did have one touchdown taken back. But it just, I mean, Oregon just looked like they weren't completely into that game.
Well, and let's be honest, let's not forget, Indiana went out and played Oregon at Oregon and beat them on their own field.
30-20.
And that's just, I believe, 1 week after, as I recall, 1 week after their trip to Kenny. Is that right? Was it 1 week or two?
I can't remember exactly for sure, but it was either one of those. And what you were talking about, the big head, Don, one way Kirk could easily tell his players, you don't realize Minnesota was the first team we've beaten in the Big Ten that has
a win.
That has a win. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, so there's easy ways to deflate the ego bubble if that's what's happening. I'm not really worried about with guys like Ethan Hurkett. They got a lot of veteran leadership on this team, and I think that's what's going to help.
Yeah.
Gronowski's the same way. Gronowski knows they have a ton of work to do with the passing off. Okay, Don, do you think Oregon's going to are they going to have to throw downfield to beat Oregon?
Probably. Yes, probably so. And the good thing about it, of course, we have 2 weeks to get ready for
Sure.
it. And
So do
I
they,
say
though.
that. Now, this week, obviously, we got to give some key players some time off just to recover because it's a war of attrition. You know, you've heard me say before, if you have a chance to get well, you better take advantage of it. And we'll do that. Anybody that needs to miss a little practice time,
Bo Stevens.
we'll miss it this week, but not next week.
Yeah, Bo Stevens has had like a soft tissue nagging injury throughout the season. He limped off again Saturday, but Kirk said he should be fine and with the extra week. Because I'll tell you, their offensive line is really playing well. Do you think the interior battle against Oregon? I haven't watched enough of Oregon to see how physical they are as a running team. Have you, Don?
No, I'm not. I've seen them off and on. Of course, I've seen all the Oregon-Indiana game. That one, of course, I watched with a lot of interest. And that was not a fluke win by Indiana.
Oh, not at all.
Indiana had the key parameters on their side. Incidentally, if you want to talk about parameters, top 15 parameters, Minnesota won none of them.
I don't think, yeah.
We won 14 of them. There was one tie. Indiana was 0 for the top 15 parameters.
That does not surprise me.
No.
I mean, what I wrote, it was vintage. This was Kirk Ferentz football at its finest. Dominate the line of scrimmage, win special teams, and they had balance on offense. I mean, and win the turnover battle, which they clearly did. They just won it from start to finish in every phase.
Yeah, +3 on turnovers, and of course, the best turnover of all, of course, is one that results in a touchdown.
Yep, it sure was. And they've done that 18 straight seasons. They've had a pick six.
Isn't that incredible?
That's incredible. Can you believe that, Don?
Yeah, there's only one team in college football with the longest streak. I believe it's Utah, as I recall.
Is it really? Do you know how long it is?
They're 22 years in a row.
Okay, speaking of Utah, I don't know if you were watching.
They look good.
They led Colorado 43-0 at halftime.
Yeah. Colorado, what a crazy team. You know, they beat Iowa State, and then they turn around and lose to Utah.
Badly.
They didn't just lose, Don. They just got destroyed. I watched it. I mean, I watched the first half. It was just complete destruction.
Yeah, you know, if it's an up and down football team in terms of performance, you have to tie it into the maturity of the team. You know, they're emotionally immature.
Yeah.
They think they can just show up and win. It doesn't work that way. Veteran players know that. And that's what pleases me is we got so many guys that have been through the wars. They set the right example for the younger guys.
Yep.
And as a result of that, nobody sneaks up on us.
And you look at Oregon, yeah, they've got great talent, but a lot of their talent is super young. This Decorian Moore, whatever, this receiver, he's an NFL receiver, but he's only a freshman, true freshman. The quarterback is young. So, like I said, I'm giving Iowa much better. I still probably think Oregon will win, but I would not be surprised if Iowa found a way to win this game. The one that still scares me the most is at USC. And we'll see. I think they have 4 games left. I think Michigan State's a no-brainer. I just do. I think the other 3 are pretty much toss-ups with maybe the Oregon game tilting a little bit towards Oregon, but I think the Nebraska game tilts a little bit towards Iowa. What do you think, Don? I mean, these last 4 games, I know you coaches love to take it one at a time, but looking at the big picture, I mean, how optimistic are you?
Yeah, you're going to be using the analogy of a hurdle race.
Yeah.
We only have one hurdle that we're focused on, and of course, that's Oregon. Excuse me. But let's face it, Oregon's going to be a very challenging game, as will, of course, a trip to Southern Cal.
Yeah.
We'll worry about Southern Cal, though, when we get Oregon behind us. And I do like our chances against Oregon. I don't doubt that Vegas will have Oregon as a favorite.
Yeah.
And I can really care less what Vegas takes. Because what I put more stock in is what our players take.
Mm-hmm.
And I have confidence that they'll be ready to play.
Oh, I am too. And like I said, Michigan State's implode. I mean, they had some moments against Michigan, but hell, I don't think Michigan's that good, especially on offense. But Michigan State, to me, that looks like I'm not saying an easy win. None of them are easy, but this season's looking a lot more optimistic. I've been saying 7-5. Now I'm more 8-3. You could talk me into 8-4, 9-3, but one game at a time. So with Oregon, how much do you think running the ball is going to be a factor in this game? Because whenever I watch Oregon, it seems like, yeah, they want to run the ball, but they also prefer to just do these crazy plays in space and whatever. But how much do you think running is going to determine that game?
Well, and the one thing that maybe will work in our favor, somebody the other day after our game against Minnesota said, I hope it's raining like cats and dogs when Oregon comes to town. And I said, I don't want that for 2 reasons. Oregon's more used to playing in the rain than we are.
Yes.
Because there's more rain in the Pacific Northwest than there is in the Midwest. And I don't want our fans to be sitting on their hands.
Yeah.
We need that home field advantage that our fans give us, almost always give us. And truthfully, maybe the best weather for us might be cold and dry.
And windy.
Because Oregon is not used to cold and dry.
Cold, dry, and super windy to where all you can do is run the ball between the tackles. But I mean, no, it's like I said, this break comes at a good time. If I'm Gronowski, I'm sure he's not going to do much on that left knee this week. He's going to relax a little bit. This comes at a good time, and it's going to be interesting to see. It's interesting, Don, because I see a lot of SEC fans on social media now complaining that Indiana and Ohio State are ranked first and second because their argument is, well, the Big Ten's so bad from top to bottom, the SEC, blah, blah, blah. I mean, what do you think? Do you think the SEC is markedly better than the Big Ten this year from top to bottom?
Well, I would tell the SEC, last time I checked, the last 2 national champs come from the Big Ten.
Yeah. I don't think Ohio State has to justify anything.
You don't win a national title by getting lucky. There's just too many hurdles to get over to get there. Hard to do. But Michigan and Ohio State, of course, have deserved that title. SEC is good football. There's no doubt about it. But I think it's very, very comparable to the Big Ten, and for that matter, the Big Ten is very comparable to the SEC. They're both great leagues. And I think there are all kinds of teams that would not want to play Indiana.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you.
Just ask UCLA. Just ask Oregon. And let's just take you back to this, too. Oregon won on the road at Penn State. That's an accomplishment. But it's not much different than having to win in Kinnick. That's hard to do also.
Mm-hmm.
Just ask anybody and everybody that comes in here. They'll tell you that it's hard to win in Kinnick.
Oh, yeah, it is. And I think right now if Indiana played Alabama, I'd pick Indiana.
I would, too.
I think they're better. I mean, if Indiana played Ohio State right now, I'd probably still pick Ohio State. But I don't know of any SEC team right now that's better than Indiana. And since we're talking about the SEC, what do you think of Brian Kelly's got $54 million coming. And there's talk that somehow politics are going to get involved with helping to pay out his buyout. I don't know how that can happen, but were you surprised that Brian Kelly got let go in year 4?
Oh, I didn't realize he'd been fired.
Yeah, he's gone. They got rid of him last night. They're 5-3.
Well, I did say as the game played out, Brian Kelly's is an hot water now too, but I didn't realize they'd already made the move.
He's gone. Yep. So that's what the third or fourth coach fired.
They gave up 49 points.
Yeah. And, LSU, they even said it's national championship or bust. Okay, that's fine. But, not everyone's – you're not going to win a national championship every year. So.
Well, and the bottom line, of course, they call that Death Valley for a reason. Well, it's clear right now. It's not Death Valley. Matter of fact, I did notice that late in the game, it's amazing how many people cleared out of there.
Yeah.
Long before the game was over. That just tells you the fans are absolutely disgusted with the team and the coaches.
Yeah, and Brian Kelly makes it easy to be disgusted with him. And remember, at his introductory press conference at the halftime of that basketball game, not a press conference, but he had a Southern accent. He was so disingenuous, and that's coming back to haunt him now. He wanted to try to adapt to the LSU, and it just, I don't know. I just didn't think it was a good hire to begin with. So now you have LSU and Florida both hiring head coaches, and they say that Lane Kiffin is probably – people are saying he might be the leading candidate for both jobs. It's just, just crazy. What job would you prefer, LSU or Florida, Don, if you had your pick?
Well, I believe I'd take LSU, to be honest with you.
What is it about LSU that's better than Florida?
Well, I think, first off, they have access to Florida has access to a lot of great players, too, right there in their home state. Mm-hmm. But I'd say this, LSU has access to a lot of great players in Texas also.
True, that's a good point. Yeah.
I think they got a little better recruiting base than Florida.
And Florida's got
Florida State, Miami.
Yeah, Florida's got so much
competition,
in-state competition, and everybody recruits in Florida.
So, it'll be interesting to see if Lane Kiffin, that's going from one conference school to another. But in this day and age, that doesn't even matter anymore.
And just imagine the bidding war that could ensue here.
Yeah,
crazy.
And then, of course, James Franklin's looking for it. He wants to coach again. So the nice thing is here we are at Iowa, year 27. Kirk's still, he's still getting it done.
Yeah, and, talking about Lane Kiffin, you might not know this, but their video guy, the guy in charge of their video, used to be here with us.
Okay.
Matt Engelbert's his name.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Matt. I know Matt.
Yeah, Matt's an old friend and a good friend, and I've heard him about Kiffin through the years, and he has a lot of respect for him. He's a good coach. What comes to mind for me, that was an awfully good win. It's hard to go into Norman, Oklahoma and beat a good Oklahoma team.
No, you're right.
They did it.
Yeah, he did it. No, he's a good coach. He can be a little obnoxious at times, but that's part of his.
He's a little borderline jerk, but I said something about Signetti, but he backs it up. He's a good coach.
Yeah, Signetti's personality will haunt him only if he starts to lose. If he's winning, it's he can back up everything he says. But yeah, they kind of brought UCLA back down to earth. My God, what was it like? What was the final score?
56-3 or something.
56-6.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was
56-6, I believe.
Yeah.
And you're right. I remember thinking going into the game, Indiana better be careful. This could be a trap game for them. Not
at all.
Because UCLA, as you know, they surprised everybody with what they've done over the past month. But they came crashing back down to earth. Our young signal caller got his head handed to him. And I know, incidentally, talking about an endorsement of Iowa football, I'm talking about the CBS announcers during the game and the studio commentary after the game.
Yeah, I tweeted something about it.
They cannot say enough about Iowa. If our fans haven't heard it, if they happen to tape the game, they should go back and listen to it, because it'll make you very, very proud to be an Iowa football fan.
Yeah, and I'm going to try to find it on my Twitter. The post game on CBS, they had this, and I even said, "Boy, this is a nice recruiting thing." I'll find it here.
Well, it was, but yeah, 56-6. You were right on that score. Indiana over UCLA, and that was as surprising as almost as the Iowa 41-3 thrashing of Minnesota. Those were the two biggest surprises, I think, this week.
Here's one. You remember Aaron Taylor, the former Notre Dame and NFL lineman. He goes, if you gave Iowa defensive coordinator Phil Parker the roster in Athens or the roster in Tuscaloosa, he would get the same exact, if not better, production. So, let me hear.
And it's true.
Let me hear.
Taking on blocks, striking it, shedding, making sure you're in the proper gap. They are one of the best at doing all of those things.
Recall, this is a Minnesota team that looked really good a week ago, beating Nebraska.
They only gave up 6 points.
Yep. Yeah. This is phenomenal stuff, and they can build on it because this is their culture. This is exactly who they are. They don't change. There are clunkers, unfortunately, in their seasons over the years, where maybe keeps them from the big prizes. But in a 12-team field, if they can find a way to do this to Oregon and SC the next couple of weeks, put them right in the head of the
Notre
class.
Dame just do the SC. They bullied them with their running game. Over 200 yards rushing. That's exactly what I was going to attempt.
They're good on the lines of scrimmage, and I'll finish with this. They get 5-star production out of 2- and 3-star players. If you gave Phil Parker the rosters in Athens or the roster in Tuscaloosa, he would get the same exact, if not better, production. NFL scouts and teams love the players that come to Iowa because they know how to play the game, and it translates perfectly to the NFL.
And they're knocking on a decade now under Phil Parker, who's been there longer, but a decade of under 20 points a game allowed now every year.
Incredible.
That's an incredible endorsement for our program.
It sure is. Now, I will maybe disagree with one thing. I think, the 5-star whatever. To me, though, Zach Lutmer, coming out of high school, was maybe as good as some of those 4-star guys down in Alabama and Georgia and what have you. It's just that he played at a small school in Iowa, played quarterback and whatever. But I think sometimes guys get overrated more than guys get rated properly. Do you agree with that at all? I think Zach Lutmer is a really good football player. We just didn't know it until he got here, but Iowa knew it.
Well, we're still what we call a developmental program.
Mm-hmm.
The coaches know to look for the guy that has the ability to improve a lot and the mental capacity to be able to get that done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about being coachable. These guys are great teachers, but they still wouldn't have great effect if the players weren't coachable.
No, you're right.
Yeah, and that's on Kirk's checklist. Don't recruit guys that aren't going to be coachable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Well, good. Do you want to get a drink of water?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, to me, if Zach Lutmer walked on, joined the Georgia football team, I think he would be one of their better defensive backs. I really do. I just think sometimes we've got these hidden gems in small towns in Iowa, and Iowa knows it. They get them. Iowa was Zach Lutmer's only. I wrote a story yesterday. All the touchdowns that were scored by Iowa guys, 5 different guys, they had a combined 6 Power 4 scholarships, led by Reese Vanderzee, Iowa State, and Nebraska. Hecklinski had Wake Forest and Central Florida, and then Lutmer only had Iowa, and then, of course, Gronowski and Caden Weechen didn't have anything. And that's Iowa
incredible.
Football. That's Iowa football. Yeah.
Yeah, very true. And I'll say this about 5 stars. Half of them, I'll promise you, will end up as huge disappointments. That's the way it has always worked. 5-star doesn't mean much because it simply is not based on projection. It's based more on numbers. Somebody had great numbers in high school. You go for the guy that aspires to become great. He's not there, but you just know it's in him.
Yeah.
That's why our coaches do a great job of evaluating talent. My gosh, I think back to guys like Mark Cook. Nobody wanted Mark Cook, but we saw a lot in Mark Cook.
Mm-hmm.
And I give great credit to Bill Brazier. And Bill Brazier said, maybe he's not a quarterback, and maybe he's not a defensive end. Both Snipes and Bernie said, no, Coach, I really can't justify offering Mark Cook. And Bill said, all I know is this. That young man's a great competitor. He runs not the 400 meters. He runs 400 hurdles. Try running around a track and jumping over hurdles at the same time. Mark Cook did that in high school and did it well.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Cook just has the extra heartbeat, as we always say. And he's got the willingness to be coached and to learn from his mistakes. And I know I could talk to Marv Cook about aspiring to play a perfect game. He can't do it, but Marv always tried. Matter of fact, against Ohio State, he almost did it. The game I'm talking about is that infamous last play game. I think Marv had something like 160 yards receiving that day. not to mention the game winner at the end.
Now, I will say an Ohio State fan would listen to our conversation and say, well, we seem to do okay with 4 and 5 star. No, there is another side to that argument. Yeah.
Sure there is.
The thing with a 5 star is you have so much little margin for error because the expectations are so high. And if you're not doing a major contribution right away, people look at you as like, I don't think Xavier Wampka is going to leave here as a failure, but a lot of people will say, well, for 3 years he underachieved. That's only because he was labeled as a 5-star.
Well, that's right, and he had already been close to his ceiling maybe when he came here, and a lot of the 5-stars are already closer to their
yeah, I mean,
ceiling.
like Jeremiah Smith, he was a 5-star. He is, I mean, yeah, it works both ways. I get it. I just like the fact that I was able to see talent where other coaches don't see it. And a lot of it's defensive backs. I mean, Desmond King. I mean, Micah Hyde. These are guys that hardly had any offers. Iowa saw something in them, and it's neat to watch. It's fun to watch. And
maybe one of the best examples of all, of course, is playing for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
That's a great example.
Well, I think Zach Lutmer's got a little bit of Cooper DeJean in him. And they're a little different style of play, but Lutmer is really talented. He's 6 foot. He's 205 pounds. He can play corner. He can play cash. He can play free, strong. He can do whatever. He's really impressive, and he's another guy from up there. And to think that he and Vanderzee were high school teammates, no wonder they won so many games.
And he's got 2 more years if he wants them.
Yeah, and he may not need 2 more years.
Yeah.
I mean, if the way he's playing now, and if he has another big year next year, but we're getting way ahead of ourselves there. I get that. But, okay, Don, what would be your...
How about Intringer? I give high marks to Intringer also. Was he very highly recruited?
No, Michigan did offer him, but no, he wasn't very highly recruited. He was another one. Deshaun Lee wasn't very highly recruited. I mean, they do have some guys. I mean, some of those guys on the offensive line had some nice offers. I wanted to ask you about Intringer because I know Minnesota fans are really mad at it was not targeting. It never was targeting, and I think the hit Intringer put on number 15 laid him out. Gopher fans are saying it was a dirty hit. Wasn't the ball tipped? And you know the play I'm talking about, Don?
Yes, I do. And I've looked at it closely. I do think that Intringer, he incorrectly thought that the ball was going to the guy that he let up.
That's what I thought. He's not a dirty player.
Yeah. The ball had been released. I think you're right. It was tipped. So it didn't get on target as quickly as it would have, of course, if it hadn't been tipped.
Mm-hmm.
It was just ever so slightly tipped, I think. But the bottom line, it was thrown back against the grain, and Tringer's breaking up toward the ball. He simply anticipated that ball it's intended to be thrown to the receiver that I'm going to hit, and I might get there a split second early, but I'm not going to let him catch the ball. I'm sure he thought he would time it up so that, truthfully, if the ball had continued in flight, he probably would have had it timed up just about perfectly.
That's what I thought,
yeah. Hard hit.
And he did not lead with his helmet.
I think he simply thought that the ball was intended for that guy. That's the one I'm going after him. It wasn't because he's trying to knock the guy out of the game.
No.
He's simply trying to break up the pass.
Because he's trying to knock the guy out of the game. Why would he do it right in front of the official? But it was the right call. It was a personal foul. I get it. But he did not lead with his helmet, so they got the 15 yards. Yeah. But the thing that surprised me, Don...
He wasn't ejected, at least.
Yeah. The thing that surprised me was Minnesota's usually pretty physical. That was the least physical Minnesota game I've seen in a while. Were you surprised that just in the interior they just weren't physical?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised. Here's a good example. I know there've been certain people that bragged about their offensive line here and there. Here's the truth. We got good pressure with the 4-man rush.
Yeah.
All 4 of our sacks were by our defensive line. You know, no linebacker sacks, no safety sacks. We didn't rush more than 4, hardly ever. I don't know how many times we brought pressure. I guarantee you can count them on one hand really easily. I don't know if we brought pressure more than a time or 2. We didn't have to. We got good pressure with 4 men.
It was nice to see Jose Epinesa to get some plays in, too.
Yeah, and I believe he's now played in 3 games, so it'll be interesting to see. They don't really need him, barring injuries right now.
No.
But to me, redshirting is so different now because everyone lives in the moment. But I've got these defensive stats. What's interesting about this game, Don, is Iowa didn't have anyone with more than 6 tackles. Wampka led them with 6. Lutmer had 5. Deshaun Lee 3. Hawthorne 3. I like Bryce Hawthorne, number 96. He's really starting to show me something up front. Ethan, they had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 players with either 3 or 2 tackles. What does that tell you?
Yeah, and I like pace too. Yeah, we have some backups that are in our defensive line that are good players, very good players. Matter of fact, Epinesa reminds me of his big brother.
He does.
You know, he's growing into that frame of his is going to be maybe not as big as AJ, but close to it. And more important, he's got that same cat-like quickness off the edge.
Yeah.
AJ got an interception
Almost
yesterday,
a pick
too.
6.
Yeah, 1 yard short.
He tipped it to himself. It was a great play. It really was. And what's interesting,
Yeah.
I mean, Jonah Pace, Brian Allen, and Jeremiah Pittman, all 3 linemen that play a lot, not one of them had any stats. But they were out there causing trouble. I mean, they were disrupting things, but none of them had any. Let's see, TJ had 2 tackles, but no, it was just. Let's see, Iowa only had 1 pass breakup. They only had 3 quarterback hurries. They had 9 tackles for loss. It just seemed like none of the stats really mattered once the game got out of hand.
Yeah, that's true. Here's what else we did really well. 1 explosive play. One play gained 20 yards.
No, you're right.
And
yeah.
that's the low bar for an explosive play is a gain of 20. They had 1 play in the entire football game that gained 20 yards. We had 4, incidentally. So,
Yep.
Not that that's great. We didn't have any home runs, nothing over 30. But we did have 4 plays in the 20s. And, of course, that helps. And not to mention, of course, those explosive plays with interception return and punt return.
I also like what they did with Jamison Gears is a good tight end for Minnesota. He had 1 catch for 4 yards. They took him out of the game. I've watched him a lot really bail out their quarterback, but Iowa just took him out.
Yeah, matter of fact, he was the guy that TJ undercut on the deep route. They ran a flag route with the tight end.
Yes, that was a great play.
I really like him a lot. But the announcer, Danielson, of course, knows football. He's an old quarterback. And he said, I don't know if you're really being smart to send a tight end that far down the field because he doesn't have as much experience in judging those deep passes
that's a good
as
point.
those corners do. And sure enough, TJ made a nice break on the ball and undercut him for the interception. Another nice play on his part.
Yeah, no, he's playing well. I mean, TJ has been so consistent and veteran leadership. He's another senior on this defense. They've got a ton of veteran leadership on this team. So, no, this is turning out to be a fun season. I give Kirk credit. I wrote something, one of my other columns from Saturday. I think Kirk is doing some of his best coaching ever at Iowa right now. I really do. I think, and that's a tribute to him at 70 years old. Do you agree, Don? I mean, I think Kirk is – they were 3-2. That season could have easily spiraled when they were 3-2, and yet he has just held this team together. What do you think about what Kirk's doing right now?
Well, I think you're right. I think, first off, of course, I'm in practice every week, and I know you've heard me say before, one reason Kirk's so effective, and any coach that is going to be effective with his team has to have 2 things in their favor. They have to be liked and respected. 1 out of 2 is good enough to get you fired. You got to have both those things on your side. I know those players like Kirk because he's a quality person, and they also respect him because they know of his knowledge about football and about how to treat young people. And for those reasons, you know, they'll run through a wall, not just for Kirk, but for their position coaches too.
Yeah.
I think in so many cases they have similar respect for their position coaches they do to Kirk. And the most obvious examples, I think, would be well, I hate to just pick 1 or 2 guys, but Phil's obvious, Tim's obvious as the coordinators. But my gosh, let's give a lot of credit to George Barnett.
I was going to say George Barnett, yeah.
Because that offensive line is playing with a lot of savvy. You know, they're not stupid about how they play. They don't make dumb mistakes. And it all gets back to being coachable. The dumb mistakes occur when guys aren't coachable. So they might make a mistake in game 1 or game 2, but they learn from it. They don't make it again. That's what good teams do. Good teams continue to get better simply because the culture is right. Our culture is right. Now, obviously, That's why teams like Maryland, and I hate to beat up on Maryland and Michigan State, but my gosh, they do it every year. Their problem is they end up having to play 12 games schedule rather than 6. If they only played through the middle of October, they'd be pretty good. But it's a war of attrition. You gotta be mentally tough to be able to get through it and get through it with high performance week in and week out.
Does Indiana play at Maryland this coming week?
I believe they do.
That's going to be.
They do.
I believe they do. I thought I heard that. That will be interesting. I could see Indiana winning that game by 30 points, but I could also see Maryland coming out and having this lights out performance. Next thing you know, Indiana's lucky to win or whatever.
Well, they're much better at home.
Much better at home, but I just think Indiana's playing so well. They're staying healthy for the most part. Their quarterback, man, he is way better than I thought he was. That Mendoza, you really like him too, don't you, Don?
I do. I remember before we played him, I went back and checked because I was just curious. I'm thinking, okay, you played at Cal, but let's look at your road games when you played at Cal. I'll be damned, he played well at Cal on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about a trip to Florida State or a trip to, I don't know where the games were, but they were venues that should have been pretty difficult to handle, and he still played well even when he was at Cal. But he also made a real impression on me with how he played against Iowa, because you remember that game because we brought pressure and we were right under his chin any number of times.
Yeah.
And that kid hadn't blinked yet. He got some balls. He barely got some passes off, and he never saw him getting caught because he got pasted. But even then, the ball was on target, and of course, those receivers know what they're doing too.
And he's right at the top of the Heisman discussion too. Mendoza's been incredible.
Yeah, you probably heard interviews with him too. Again, I have a lot of respect for the kid. He's not a kid anymore, of course, but you can see he's a pretty humble guy. He's always quick to brag on his teammates. He's always quick to be grateful to his coaches for preparing to win. He always gives thanks to God because he professes his faith even on the air. He's just like an all-American kid. It's hard not to pull for guys like that because he represents himself and his school so well.
Yeah. They got a lot of guys like that on this team.
Yeah.
So, Coach, we got 2 weeks to get ready for Oregon. And so this week they let people heal up and stuff, give the young guys a lot of reps. So if you're coaching this team, as a coaching staff, do they start getting a game plan for Oregon during this week, or do they wait till next week to keep it just like?
No, we should be working long and hard right now. I'm sure we are in preparation for Oregon. Before I checked Oregon's schedule, I mistakenly thought we have an advantage because we got an extra week to prepare. What I didn't know at the time is Oregon also has a bye.
Yes, they got a bye week.
Right.
So it'll be a little bit like Oregon versus Iowa in a bowl game, because you got more preparation for this game. And Oregon, of course, recognizes this is a big hurdle. We have to get over Iowa.
Oh, without question, yeah.
Yeah. So they're not going to take us lightly. It's still going to be a race. When I say it's a race in terms of preparation. We've got to develop a game plan that's better than Oregon's. We've got to give our guys a better chance to win than they give theirs. And it really is a mad race to get that done. I know I had a lawyer friend years ago that told me, he said, I finally figured out a good job description for a coach. And he said this. He said, in being a lawyer, of course, we have to represent our clients, and that's why they pay millions of dollars to do it, represent him really well. He said, being a football player or a football coach is very much that way, too, in the Big Ten. You finish the game on Saturday, if it's a great game. You like to celebrate, but not for very long, because if the kickoff the next Saturday is the same time, you had about 165 hours to get ready for it. And most of those hours need to be spent in waking mode because it's a race in terms of preparation. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, if you're gonna put together a plan that's superior to theirs, it's going to take time to do that. You can't just throw something together. It's got to be based on hours and hours of film study and hours of, you heard me talking about before, you play the game, what if? What if we did this? What if we did that? Nobody's done it to them yet, but if you use your imagination, you can see it on film. It's there. Nobody's done it to them. We're going to do it to them, and we're going to practice it so that we have great confidence when the game rolls around, that play's going to work. We can see it on video, and they haven't been exposed to them. And you just look at the little weaknesses here and there. It's nothing that maybe is obvious because nobody else has tried to do it. That's an indication that it's not obvious. But that's what great coaching staffs do, and I would challenge our guys to get that done in a superior way to what Oregon's going to do, because we both have a lot of time to get ready. This is a bowl game within the season. It just happens to be played in Kinnick.
I haven't looked, but has Oregon not played in Kinnick since 1989? And obviously, Don, that was not a game that we want to remember.
Oh, I think that's right.
That that was the 1989 season opener, wasn't it, Don?
Yeah, I don't remember what year. I mean, I remember the year.
I believe it was 89.
And I'll just say this. You know, we lost some really good coaches, as you know, after the 88 season. And in 1989, I was not as good an offensive coordinator as Bill Snyder. Bill Snyder was in 88. But I learned quickly, too, I've got to get a lot better at this job. And I'm proud to say this. Of course, 1990 was back to Pasadena.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a lot better as a coordinator simply because I knew I had to. Because I'd be cheating the team if I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't very good in 89. I was a lot better in 90.
That was wasn't Rich Brooks the coach of Oregon then?
Yeah, and to give us a little bit of credit, let's see, the next year we went out there and played, I guess.
No, you played them in 94.
We played out there. What year was it?
94, right after the Penn State game.
Okay. All I remember is this. I remember that team ended up in Pasadena.
Yeah.
As the Pac-12 champion.
Oh, yeah, no. Oregon's year in and year out. They've got a good young coach whose name gets mentioned for all these jobs. If you're Dan Lanning, would you leave Oregon for LSU or Florida, Don, if that was you?
No, I would not. Just because Oregon's they might have the most unlimited resources of anyone.
Yeah.
You want to talk about money, it doesn't get much better than Nike money. And I say that, I don't even know how much money Nike's giving them now, but
enough.
Let's face it. Yeah, let's face it. Their guy doesn't need money. I'm talking about the CEO of Nike. Phil Steele's a big Oregon fan. I don't think that'll ever change.
Well, and then now they're mentioning Mike Elko, the Texas A&M coach, for all these jobs. And, to me, would you leave Texas A&M for LSU? I mean, to me, Texas A&M has everything you need
They've got
to
tons
win.
of money.
Tons of money. That's a lateral move.
That's right. Speaking of money again, there's that old expression, oil business. There's a lot of engineers that come out of A&M, and a lot of them end up making a lot of money in oil and gas.
Yeah.
And they have plenty of money too. So A&M can compete with anybody in terms of buying players.
I didn't know much about Mike Elko. I know he was a Duke, but he's done a hell of a job at Texas A&M. They are really playing good football. They have all year too.
Yeah.
They've really been.
Yeah, he's not a very sexy head coach. You perceive him as a meat and potatoes guy.
Yeah.
But he obviously knows football, and he, maybe he looks a little bit sloppy on the sideline and all that. But it's not a fashion show. So
no.
He's not Lane Kiffin, but he still knows football and knows it well.
Do you know anything about the coach at Georgia Tech? Because he's doing a hell of a job too.
Yes, he is.
I really don't. And of course, it's easy to brag on the guy at Vanderbilt right now.
Yeah, Clark Ray. He was good at Notre Dame when he was their defensive coordinator. He's done a hell of a job at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, coaching does matter. There's no doubt about it. I'll just remind you what they used to say about Bear Blunt. They said the same thing about Hayden Fry. He can take his players and beat your players, but if you want him to go to the other sideline, he can take your players and beat his players. In other words, great coaches can make a difference in each and every game, and I think Hayden Fry did that. Bear Bryant did it, and you might argue that some of these guys nowadays are doing it just as well.
So if Curt Cignetti was giving if Kirk Cignetti took over Purdue, do you think they'd all of a sudden start playing better?
Well, it would help. It would help, I think, to have. But I don't want to talk badly about Barry Odom. I think Barry Odom's done a nice job.
I do too. It's
They've
just
gotten
tough.
better.
They've gotten better, and yet they're still winless in the conference.
Yeah, they're competitive now.
Yeah.
And you might remember it's a little bit like us. Year one, we had another losing season.
Uh-huh.
But we were 5-6, and we won a lot of games. Year two, we were 4-7, and people thought, what happened there? Well, as I recall, we had losses by 1, 2, and 3 points.
Yeah.
So we were close. And then year three, we broke through.
Yeah, you can see Purdue getting better. It's just that getting that first win. And then Schiano practically, he got down on his knees rejoicing after they ended up winning that game because that was Rutgers' first win. I mean, it's just, it's not easy to win in this conference, and that's what's so impressive about Iowa being 4-1. So you go into this Oregon game, it's going to be interesting because a lot of the hype's going to be sexy versus non, the five-star West versus the meat grinders from the Midwest and what have you. Oregon's going to be favored, my guess is. The mental approach, do you think Kirk feeds off that, or how do you think he handles the mind games with his players? Or, Don, do you think he even needs to worry about that with such a senior-laden team?
He'll still be concerned about getting them in the perfect state of mind. But the good news is, I don't think it's going to be at the top of his list because he has a lot of faith in those players for their maturity level.
Sure,
we've already talked about that. Prime example, a lot of people thought Indiana would come in here and blow out Iowa. You remember me saying that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we beat them or not, but there's no way in hell anybody's going to come in here and walk over us. We're not going to let it happen.
No, they were lucky to win that game. I mean, that's their toughest game of the year so far, by far.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of experts would say, you better not sleep on Iowa, but just ask Indiana. Indiana knows. Let's face it, when that ball was intercepted late in the game, at that point, if you could measure it, I would say our chance of winning when that interception happened, that was Luckner again, wasn't
it? Yes, it was.
Yep.
I believe. After that interception, I think our chances were at least 80% win. Simply because we're already in field goal range. Even if we fail to get another first down, the odds of Drew missing that kick odds of Drew making that kick are certainly way above 50%.
Yeah.
That's how good a kicker is. He happened to miss it. They went on to win the game. But it's not hard to imagine. Even if we hit the kick, it's not hard to imagine we win by 3. I don't know if they could have come back down the field and done it. Let's face it, that's a lot different pressure than being tied up.
Before we wrap up, I can't believe the hour's almost up. I wanted to ask you about Iowa State. They have now lost 3 games since beating Iowa. Obviously injuries, but you can't attribute everything to injuries. They lost both their starting quarterbacks and their kickers out. So yeah, injuries have been a factor. But just your thoughts? Did you watch any of them on Saturday? I mean, is it just injuries?
Haven't seen any of the game. I've read about it. Saw a few highlights here and there. The score's a little misleading. It was 27-all, as I recall, before the pick six. And then I don't remember how they scored the other touchdown late. But, I think Matt Campbell has the right kind of culture, too. And you've heard me brag, of course, on John Haycock. I know John really well. He's an outstanding defensive coach. I think injuries have hurt them. There's no doubt about it. But they're still fighting to win. Let's face it, BYU's good.
Yeah, they are.
That quarterback, Bear Bachmeier, is good. Excellent.
They've got great skill players, and they're undefeated for a reason.
Yeah, my heart goes out to Iowa State and Iowa State fans because I know they have a lot of players that have the right kind of makeup too. Just like our guys, they're competitors. They're coachable. They have good coaching. They have a chance to win every time they play.
Mm-hmm.
They just came up short against a good team. The score is misleading. But I wouldn't want to play Iowa State next weekend because I don't care who you are. They might beat you. They're just that kind of team. You better be ready to play them.
Yeah.
Because it's not likely that they're just going to show up and be half-hearted with their effort. That's not going to happen.
Their only bad loss is Colorado. That one I just cannot figure out.
It's a head scratcher.
I watched part of that game too. Iowa State's defense just didn't just didn't bring it. But okay, well, Tom, have we covered? I'm trying to think if there's anything.
Well, you just hit the Iowa State one, which I was going to ask about, and yeah, I mean, it's college football. It's Big Ten, right in the middle of an exciting season, and I know we need the break, heal up, and everything, but it sure is more fun when the Hawkeyes are playing.
Well, right now, let me bring this up. I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Does Indiana play Ohio State in the regular season? I don't believe they do.
I don't believe so, but I don't have the schedule in front of me.
And in a way, I'm glad they don't. Because think how silly this would be. Wouldn't it be silly for them to play in Game 11, just for the sake of argument? We know Ohio State in Game 12 plays at Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
But just for the sake of argument, wouldn't it be kind of crazy for them to play each other in Game 11 and then turn around just a couple of weeks later, play again in the championship game?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's almost better that they don't play, kind of build up the drama for what looks like it's going to be Ohio State versus Indiana. That looks unavoidable.
Yeah, we don't even know it'll play out that way. Of course, Oregon has designs on being in Indianapolis, too. They were there last year, of course. Ohio State was not, as you know. What are the odds Ohio State wouldn't? And it was actually to their benefit to win a national title because they didn't have to play a championship game in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
But let's face it, that might have been their third loss.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
Then they wouldn't have even been in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Indiana does not play Ohio State.
What I really like about this Ohio State team, of course the offense is always there, but their defense this year is really, really good. I mean,
they're rock solid.
They are. They are just solid everywhere on defense. Now, that's one team where Lutmer may have trouble starting. He's not going to start over Caleb Downs, obviously, but again, I still think Iowa's got a lot of these hidden gems in this state that, dating all the way back to when you guys were coaching there, Don, you found them. You found these guys that nobody else wanted. You turned them into star players. Marv's a good example of that. There's tons of those guys going right now. So, all right, well, we'll still do a show next Monday.
About recruiting, you always look for the guy that has demonstrated that he has the extra heartbeat.
Yep.
And we're just talking about ultra competitors, the kind of guy. If you're going to beat him, you might have to kill him. You know, he's just simply not going to give up.
Now, talent, of course, too. I mean, we talk about Marv. Marv was also 6'4", 230. You got to have talent and size, too, right? Of course.
Absolutely. I was reminded the other day, the all-time leading receiver at tight end U is still Marv Cook.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people might not realize that. I'd forgotten about it. But talking about a lot of fun Garden Club, we had a guest speaker last Friday named Chuck Hartley. And, of course, I started it off in introducing Marv to the group. I said, right now it's only appropriate, since we're getting ready for the World Series, they talk about a battery in baseball is, of course, pitcher and catcher. And using that same thing for football, I'll introduce to you half of the battery, maybe the best battery that Iowa ever had in college football, and that would be Hartley to Cook. And that's when a guy got up and said, well, Coach Patterson brings up a good point. He went through all the tight ends that have all had over 1,000 yards receiving in Iowa. So many of them, of course, are playing in the NFL right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the one with the most yardage of all is still Marv Cook. It was 1,800 and something yards.
Yeah, and George Kittle's
there are a lot of guys, a lot of great tight ends that are behind Marv in that career receiving book.
Well, George was injured most of the time.
He was injured all the time, and they didn't use him as much. And so, I mean, George Kittle, I think most people, if you were asking most Iowa fans who's the greatest tight end, I think a lot would say George Kittle because of what he did in the NFL. He was good at Iowa, but he was hurt a lot of the time at Iowa, and he was never a primary option. Your 88 team, Marv was because you guys remember, you guys had a lot of injuries. You couldn't run the ball in 88, and you threw the ball a ton, and Marv was the beneficiary of that.
Yeah. I'll remind you, too, of this. Marv Cook also played in a couple of Pro Bowls.
Mm-hmm. I think 3 of them.
And it's one of my favorite stories about Marv. I've heard Marv tell it, and it's a good story. He said it was so meaningful to him the first time he huddled up with guys like Emmitt Smith and,
Deion Sanders.
John Elway. I can't remember who was in the huddle with him, but some of the greatest players in the history of the NFL, and Marv had to pinch himself. I'm in the huddle with these guys playing in a Pro Bowl, and the rest of the story, he's back home in Massachusetts after the game, and the delivery guy shows up with a big bottle of water, a big jug of water for him. And Marv had just gotten back from the trip. He didn't have any cash on him. And he wanted to give the guy a tip, but he had no money. So all he could think of, he had a pile of Patriot caps, and he gave the guy a cap. And he said, and the guy looked at Marv and said, "What's this for?" And Marv said, "Well, it's what I do." And the guy looked at Marv, looked at the cap, and he said, "You sell caps?" He didn't realize he was talking to the tight end from the New England Patriots that just got back from the Pro Bowl.
Remember, that was before social media. A lot easier.
I'd like to tell that story because there's always somebody to put you back in your place.
Yep, no, you're right about that. And Marv was the beneficiary of being before social media, and I think a lot of these athletes who are older probably appreciate the fact that they were, because now everything you do is at risk of being shown on social media.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a little privacy. But, Don, great stuff as usual. We'll do this again next Monday because we can still talk about a lot of football, even though Iowa didn't play. And then, Tom, anything else?
There'll be some consequential games this week.
Oh, without question, yeah.
I do recall the Big Ten schedule is nothing so special.
It isn't.
But on a national level, I'm sure there's any number of games we can talk about.
Yep.
And there's 6 teams with buys this week.
And who knows what's going on head coaching-wise a week from now. I mean, we may even have some stuff to talk about there, too. So great stuff as usual, Donnie. Get out and enjoy this nice weather while it's still – today's going to be beautiful, it looks like. And thanks again. And
this is my last opportunity to mow the grass. So
I'm doing mine today, too, because it's supposed to rain tomorrow. That's probably going to be the last time I mow my grass today. So enjoy the weather, Don, and we'll look forward to talking to you a week from today.
Always a pleasure, guys.
All
Take
right.
care.
Thank you, Coach. We will be right back with some more.
From the Harty and Stalker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Harty and Stalker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
It is going to be a pretty nice day today, and then things are going to change up a little bit here. By Tuesday and Wednesday, we have a system that's going to kick through. It's going to bring some rain, a half inch or more of rain possible, and then we will be a little cooler, but still fairly pleasant here by later this week. Today, partly cloudy, 61, east wind at 5 to 15. Rain will start late tonight. Tomorrow, rain likely with a high of 55. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Current temperature 44.
KCJJ weather, brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
1-800-800-ROSE. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist is the only number you need to know to send flowers anywhere in the country or Canada from anywhere in the country. 1-800-800-ROSE. It's so easy. Just remember one number. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist. 1-800-800-ROSE. Remember,
for a gift that your loved one will treasure for a lifetime, find it at our family-owned jewelry store in Iowa City, Harty and Stalker Jewelers.
We can show you diamond engagement rings, colored stones, fashion jewelry, and watches.
Our jewelers are on site, so we can design jewelry for that special person in your life.
We are Harty and Stalker, serving Iowa City and the surrounding area for 3 generations.
Harty and Stalker Jewelers, downtown Iowa City, and HartyandStalkerJewelers.com. Ask for Willa, Terry, Tim, or Kate. One of us is always there.
Don't wait for an emergency to get a backup for your car keys. Unlike the olden days, car keys have gotten extremely complex. Mike's eKeys for Cars can generate the most technically advanced automotive keys that are on the market today. For spares and lost keys, Mike's eKeys for Cars can produce most conventional transponder, high security, and remote head keys. Mike's eKeys for Cars will keep you on the road. Call 319-330-9185 and schedule an appointment today. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 319-330-9185 today.
Hanging lights is a pain. Dealing with blown bulbs, dangerous installations, and the endless rat's nest of cords, there's got to be a better way, and now there is. Illuma Lights permanent outdoor lighting from Big Dog Tech. Illuma Lights provides illumination for every occasion. Holiday lighting, accent lights, security, and of course, lighting for the best season, football season. The Illumilights app lets you create your own patterns with color, motion, brightness, and static control over every individual light, or use Big Dog's presets to transform your home or business. The professionally installed track system makes Illumilights LEDs virtually disappear until you turn them on. Rated at 50,000 hours, you'll enjoy stress-free convenience for years to come. No more ladders, no more hooks, no more wifey's dirty looks. That's the song you'll be singing all year long with Illumilights permanent outdoor lighting from Big Dog Tech. Find out more at BigDogTek.net or call 319-395-0800.
Hi, I'm Jim Street, owner of Streets Maintenance. As a licensed, insured, and bonded master plumber, I specialize in all plumbing repairs, including but not limited to water heater and sump pumps to toilet and faucet repairs and replacements. As an Iowa City native, I know how frustrating it can be when any part of your plumbing system breaks down. That's why I only use trusted brands and quality materials. I offer same-day, next-day service coupled with a fair price. I also offer general services to mobile homes. For more information about my business, I'm online at streetsmaintenance.com and Facebook, or give me a call at 400-4483, 400-4483.
Streets Maintenance, honest plumbing at a fair price.
On an athletic team, you need team players, good athletes, superior equipment, and the best coaches available. In real estate, you need to have a good title and settlement team at your disposal. Hi, this is Steve Anderson. Whether you're buying, selling, or refinancing, you need quality title and settlement services. Consider the team at Hawkeye Title. Give us a call at 351-8600. Hawkeye Title and Settlement, the team you love, the people you trust.
Don't let just anyone take care of your smile. At Diamond Dental, you can expect compassion, expertise, and a personalized care plan to protect your teeth for life. With more than 30 years of combined experience, Dr. Forbes and his staff are prepared to tackle even your toughest dental problems, leaving your smile healthy and sparkling. Diamond Dental offers a full range of general and cosmetic dentistry, as well as dental treatment options for snoring and sleep apnea. It's never too early to start thinking about what's best for your smile. Schedule an appointment today by calling 319-390-3703 or visiting the office at 5815 Consul Street Northeast, Suite D1 in Cedar Rapids. You can also visit DiamondDentalPC.com for more information. Dr. Forbes is a proud sponsor of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club and the Inner Circle. Let the Diamond Dental team provide superior care for your entire family.
This is Leah Pasha, and I've been saying, hit a deer, call Premier for years. But it's time for something new. It's still where you need to go for deer divots and door dings, as well as damaged dashboards. That's what my dad Nathan's driving at and dreams about. Why not say, when your car is dinged, be a deer and call Premier? I think Dad's going to love that. Premier Automotive, North Liberty's premier auto body repair shop.
Be a deer and call Premier Auto Body in North Liberty.
Diamond Dream Sports Academy, 20,000 square foot indoor facility, holds 8 batting cages, space for infield work, space for throwing and pitching and all your arm care needs. Offers private instruction, group lessons, camps and clinics, leagues, memberships. Rentals available at Diamond Dreams. Is open to the public.
Our top level instructors include former professional, college, and Olympic athletes. Our coaches will help these athletes achieve their full athletic potential. Develop a strong work ethic and a solid base to build. The last thing you want to do is look back and wish you had worked or played harder.
Locally owned and established in 2005, Diamond Dreams is Eastern Iowa's premier training facility. Located at 2905 Stoner Court, North Liberty. Call today and reserve your time. 319-665-2173. 319-665-2173.
When you go to a family restaurant, you want 3 things. 1, a wide selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. 2, you want those selections to be affordable and delicious. And 3, you want to be treated like family. You get all 3 at the Midtown Family Restaurant. Breakfast items available anytime the doors are open. Legendary tenderloins, onion rings, and hot roast beef sandwiches. Daily specials at each location, and no matter if you're coming in solo or with a group of 20, you get the same special family treatment. The Midtown Family Restaurants at Court and Scott Streets and at the Walmart Plaza on Highway 1 West. Follow them on Facebook or at MidtownFamily.com. The family's waiting for you. GT Carr, owner of Supple's Building and Remodeling, has been offering unmatched service and quality for over 25 years. The trained professionals at Supple's Building and Remodeling will install and guarantee the products used in any job, no matter how big or small. They also stand behind their work and offer no-nonsense, exceptional customer service from design to completion and beyond. Whether it's a simple window replacement or a major house addition, you'll have the confidence that Supple's Building and Remodeling is committed to quality. Visit Supple's.net Medicare.net or call them today at 319-337-2246.
Hi, this is Tiffany at Senior Benefits. Are you confused with Medicare questions, anything having to do with Medicare? I take care of all Medicare customers, people under 65. I also do life insurance, long-term care, cancer insurance. I'm here to help you navigate any questions that you may be having or frustrations and anxiety that you may have with Medicare or insurance in general. Give me, Tiffany Rao, a call at 319-631-4795.
When someone is kind enough to share their time with us, we better make it worth their while.
They don't want to do people call it the game, right?
Patrick Eads and Terry Adams of Dairy Brothers Ford talk about what here for you means to them.
You don't have to spend a half a day in our dealership to get that good competitive price. We just want to try to deliver that to you up front.
And that makes me feel good, makes me proud.
Because that's what people want. They want a fair, honest deal.
As far as a statement here for you, we want to not just say it, but live it.
Find out what it means to you at Deary Ford in Iowa City.
Football fans, this is Bill Leixenring of the Oxyoke Inn. We are on your way to or from the game. We're ready to serve you with the same quality food and customer service you've come to trust for over 80 years. The Oxyoke Inn is serving our famous Sunday brunch buffet with lunch, dinner, banquets, and carry-out daily. From our Oxyoke family to yours, we can't wait to see you again soon in the heart of Amana.
The Oxyoke Inn.
We bleed black and gold. We're Hawkeyes, the mighty 1630 KCJJ.
What?
We're just talking. Don't mind us. Crap.
Well, as much fun as this football season has been, basketball season starts soon. It's hard to believe, too. So the men, their first is November 4th, I believe.
Against Robert Morris. The women have an exhibition Thursday against Ashland. And then they start next week, too.
Yeah.
That's November. That's what happens when November comes. Basketball starts.
By the way, if you haven't picked up your certificates and your tickets and stuff, you can do so today till 4:30, and you can pick them up this week. But please pick them up, or else we're going to let somebody else get them, basically. So you pick them up here, you can call in. And
we can send them to you.
We can send them, yeah.
I think it's funny, all these people that get so wrapped up in Iowa's not ranked in the top 25, so that's a national disgrace. But what's funny is the same people complaining are the same people that rip media people for being inconsequential morons, and yet it's the media people that vote, and then they get all wrapped up about what media people vote about, even though they claim they don't care about media people. So which is it? I mean, if you really don't care about what media does, then don't care about the rankings. I mean, the rankings are ridiculous. I mean,
Well, of course they are, but, it's just one more thing to be interested in.
To complain about, to bitch and moan about, if that's the way you, I mean,
is Iowa one of the top 25 teams? Probably, but maybe not.
But is USC? Probably, but maybe, we don't know.
That's right.
I mean,
And Michigan, are we better than Michigan? We don't know.
Social media just makes it so easy to just bitch and moan, and it just gets old.
And that's why I stayed away from it this weekend. I
stay away. Other than posting stuff, I'm never on anymore.
Yeah, me too. I post stuff
it's just not
from
worth it.
Facebook to X or Twitter or whatever. I post stuff, but then I'm not.
And it doesn't really impact we have people coming to our site now, whether we post on social media or not. There's times where I'll have more views on a story on our site than it has on Twitter. And when we first started, that would have been unheard of. But yeah, there'll be times where some story may have 2.5, couple thousand views on Twitter, and then I'll look on our site and have twice as many. That's all I care about is people coming to the site. Social media helps you spread your brand, but it's toxic.
I got a great email, somebody ripping me that goes, "You're just a boner without a purpose."
A boner without a purpose. What the hell does that mean?
I don't know, but I kind of liked it.
So, I mean, what are they politically, or do they probably don't agree with you?
I have no idea. They just
I don't know why people even take the time to do stuff like that.
Listen to your show the other day. you're just a boner without a purpose.
I could never take the time to reach out to a media. It's just so stupid.
And then it's signed a listener. Oh, why?
Yeah, I don't get why people. I don't get why people get wrapped up in what media people say, because we really don't matter.
We are.
I know.
No, we don't matter.
We don't matter at all in the big scheme of things. We really don't.
No.
And I know you may not want to hear that, but that's the. And I'm including myself in there too. We really don't matter.
Well,
sports writers. I mean,
no.
I mean, we have a purpose, but some people take themselves way too serious.
Well, you do have a purpose,
but in the big scheme of things, it's really not that big of a deal.
No, but entertainment is a kind of a big deal.
It is,
You're right
but
about entertainment. So yeah,
I still don't say it's that big of a deal. I mean, that's just
fair enough.
And but
people,
social media has made people think they're more important than they are. Can you
my-
agree with that?
100%.
Social media has made people think they're more important than they really are.
What I view my purpose is playing the sponsor's message and getting people in their store, and then it benefits the station because they continue to buy, which they do.
And it benefits the community.
Yeah.
And
we do a lot.
Yeah, we have a role, but in the big scheme of things, I'm just saying what we do is not that big in the big scheme of things.
Fair enough.
Compared to firefighters and doctors and teachers.
No, I would argue with that because what we do, we raise the most money to feed people through Table to Table every year.
Okay.
And that's certainly...
Okay, well, no, we're just going to have to disagree. I don't think I'm as important as a media person as you do.
I am as important. I think the station
I just think media takes themselves too serious sometimes. That's just me.
Well, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
And in the big scheme of things, I mean, I don't know. There's just a lot more important stuff out there than arguing about sports stuff on social media.
Well, I'll go along with that. No,
For
I'm
sure.
saying
100%.
Things we do for the community, I would include in.
So you're saying that you're very important, is what you're saying.
What we do for Table to Table, what we do for Shelter House.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I donate to charity throughout the year. I mean, I do a lot of donate. I just don't tell people about it. I give a lot to charity, and every time I go to Hy-Vee, every time they say, "Do you want to mark this up?" I mark it up every time. I kept track last year. I did over $300 doing that stuff, But to me, charity's better when you. And you guys have to talk about because to me, charity's better when you don't have to say you're doing something. You guys have to because you have to get people to involve. But I don't like people that brag about giving to charity. Just do it.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's just a big turnoff. Yeah. People love to tell you how much they give to charity, and I
won't give a dime.
No, but every time Hy-Vee, anytime you do the Hy-Vee self checkout now, you want to round this 77 cents?
Yeah,
I do it all the time.
I do too.
And I keep track of it, and and you can report it on your taxes. I mean, it's charity. I keep track of it every time I do it. I keep the receipt. And okay, there's another set. I mean, I did just this weekend. I did about $3 worth of rounding it up because one was for diabetes, one was to feed the homeless, another was, just different causes that are all good. And I think that now here I am talking about it on the radio, so I'm defying the very thing I'm talking about.
And we rounded up like when we were getting something to eat or drink at the football game. They offer you round up.
McDonald's does this.
I think that's a good way to give to charity. I mean,
I do too.
It is. It's small little pieces like that, and it adds up. That's just
it does add
that's
up.
Just my that's just my 2 cents.
We tithe.
Crowdsourcing, right?
Crowdsourcing. What do you mean?
We tithe.
That's what it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Your GoFundMes are crowdsourcing. It's just a term, social media term.
Well, there's a lot of GoFundMe. People have medical issues. You see a lot of people getting money raised for them on social media. So it does have a good purpose to it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's a lot of people that rely on GoFundMes to pay their bills. And that's their choice. If people are willing to do that, then that's more power to them.
I don't go to the GoFundMe anymore.
I tend to not.
No, because there's been a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of good on it, and there's some scams on it, and I just don't go to it anymore. If I, well, people contact us if they want stuff.
Yeah.
So I deal with that. Let's see. What else?
What else? What?
I'm trying to think of what else we should cover. Is there anything else we should cover?
Today on this show?
It was a good weekend for Iowa sports. Volleyball won 2 matches.
Field
hockey, soccer, they all won. So, yeah, it was a good weekend for Iowa Hawkeye sports. And
football game was obviously a lot of fun for the fans.
Oh, it was fun for the media, too, because it was over. I had my story posted 5 minutes after the game ended. Because, you just knew Minnesota. That game was over after the first quarter.
Oh, completely.
And it was definitely over after halftime.
And everybody knew it.
Yeah, and so I had my story written, and then all I did was add quotes as they did the post-game press conference. So, yeah, it turned out to be about as good a day as you could have for Hawkeye football. And if I'm a Gopher fan, I'm not happy.
I had a fan sitting in front of us who gave me a beer right in the middle of the game, a listener, which I thought was great.
Just gave you his beer? Or?
Gave me a beer, yes, he did.
Why?
She likes the station. You want a beer? Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant he was drinking his beer and just gave
No.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just with spittle in it.
So he went down and bought you a beer without even asking. Or maybe he had an extra beer.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe he did. But it was good.
Yeah.
And free. Because aren't they? How much are they normally?
Oh, $12 or $13.
For one beer?
Yes.
Good God, that's the price of a 12-pack.
I mean, they're tall boys.
Well, 16 ounces?
Yeah.
Still, that's ridiculous.
No, but that's go to sporting events. That's what you pay.
That's what you're gonna have.
That's why I don't go to sporting events other than work. Too expensive. I'm not going to spend $25 for 2 beers. I mean, think about that. You could almost buy a steak with that.
Yeah. Almost, close.
Well, the steak I wanted the other day, a ribeye, was $30.72 at Hy-Vee.
Jesus.
$30.70.
I buy those little 5-ounce sirloins.
They're not even cheap anymore, and they're not. I've had some of those that just aren't very good. But that's the reason they're the bottom of the barrel price there. They do the 8 and the 5-ounce sirloins.
Yeah.
And I think now one of them's up to like $8.99, and the other one, those things used to be
generally
like
$5 or $6.
Those things used to be $3 and $4, but no, they've even gone up. But no, the last couple I've had of those just didn't cook very well. So you get what you pay for. But the ribeyes are I cannot believe how expensive they are.
I haven't had a steak.
I haven't had a steak in ages.
Yeah.
The only red meat I eat now is tacos on Tuesday. That's it.
We had tacos last night. They were delicious.
Everything else is pork and chicken. Because chicken you can still get 4 chicken thighs for like $5.
I eat a lot of chicken, but
I don't like dark meat chicken.
I like it both.
That's what I like.
I like dark meat better, but I can eat a good chicken breast is good too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's pork's still relatively cheap. But I used to eat a pot roast a lot, and then you'd get 3 or 4 meals out of it. Mm-hmm. Pot roast now $25 to $35 for a pot roast. A lot of them.
No,
and even the small ones are like $18 to $25. It's just what's ground beef a pound now? $8.99.
It was bought a pound Saturday, $8.99.
$9 a pound. Think about that. Yeah. And it's going to only get worse. It sounds like.
Still, we could, we fed our family of 4 last night on, maybe $15. That's still pretty good.
Yeah. Of ground beef.
Well, ground beef, lettuce, salsa.
Well, if you paid $9 for the ground beef, you're saying you got the tortillas, the salsa, the lettuce, the tomato, all that stuff for $6?
Well, we only used part of it. Very little bit of it. So yeah.
Because when I make tacos, I use a full tomato, I use a full onion, and
we grow our own tomatoes.
Yeah, see, I don't grow any of my own stuff, but I have a ton of onions when I eat tacos.
Hello.
When I went to the field hockey game on Sunday, it was a real good game.
Yeah.
But the guy got ready to announce the players, and he says, "And now for the Michigan State Spartans." And we're playing Michigan.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
I didn't think Michigan cared for that, but he recovered real fast because I think somebody told him Michigan.
Mistakes happen. Yeah.
But anyway, I was talking about the price of beer. Of course, I wouldn't pay a quarter for it because I don't drink. But
okay.
My sister, she picks up beer. She goes to a beer tent. She gets it free.
Yeah, there is a Bud Light beer tent on the north North End that gives free beer, and I think they have some free food from Gray's. Yeah, they do.
They're trying to hook you.
Yeah, Bud Light tent. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have T-shirts and a bunch of junk, and she'll come in with stuff. And when I went in, I went through those little gates that are supposed to be okay.
Yeah.
And then I got in there, and somebody said, "Oh, you got a big bag. Well, have somebody check it over there." And so they were checking it, and it was beeping all over the place. And the lady said, "Well, take your cell phone out of there." I said, "I don't have my cell phone in there." And it beeped on my keys, and it beeped on my, I don't even know what it was beeping on. The one lady came over and finally said, "If she came through that thing, okay, leave her alone."
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So I thought, because I was taking everything out and everything was beeping. So what the heck was wrong with the beeper she had?
Unknown.
I mean, it was beeping on everything. I just finally threw everything back in and said, "This is a mess," and walked off. But I had the Minnesota people around me, and they said we were going to go, this time they were going to go home with a win, and it was going to be a good win, not one of those that everybody was going to yell about.
And they were right. They just had the wrong team.
We'll wait till the end of the game.
Yeah.
So when they were leaving, I said, "Did you like your good win?" And they just looked at me and walked out.
Some Iowa fan, Jake Lehman's wife, they gave some Iowa fans, she was wearing Minnesota gear, and some Iowa fans gave her some serious crap. And it's, there's no reason for that.
No,
you don't need to. But I was nice to them, and they laughed back. And
well, and you should be nice to them. They're spending money in your community.
And they said, "Well, we tried." But I watched Fleck down there, and he goes around, he hugs all his players, and when it was time to wave at the people up above, he made sure everybody got out there in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Oh, he was the first one to do
it.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy's, he tries hard.
I mean,
My sister says he does a lot for the people up there in Minnesota, the handicap and things.
No, he does. He does a lot.
Well, and his row the boat thing is
actually
it's a good cause too, where that came from. But Minnesota was the first team to wave, and that got Iowa to do it.
Yeah.
And they were the first ones to do it. He takes it serious. That whole program was out there on that field in one line, and I was pretty impressed by that.
Yeah, and they hugged. We hugged them, and they hugged us at the end of
Everybody hugged everybody.
Yeah.
Okie doke, guys. Well, is it supposed to be a good week, or is it going to be cold or rainy?
Seasonal.
Yeah, it's going to be in the 50s, and we're going to have some rain tomorrow and maybe Wednesday. But
as long as we don't get what Jamaica's getting.
No, not even close.
I don't want that.
Boy, that's a bad deal, man.
Yeah. All righty, Karn.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, they're getting hit by a Category 5.
Yeah, it's not good. Well, it's not good right now, and they're not even being hit yet.
No.
Yeah, we could actually use a little bit of rain, to be honest with you.
Well,
but no, if we go into November in the 50s, this has been one of the most pleasant October weather-wise I can remember in quite some time.
Oh, going in the 50s.
Yeah. I mean,
not bad.
This is the last week in October. When's Trick or Treat? Is it Friday?
Friday.
Okay. And that's the first big night of high school playoffs in football too, isn't it? This coming Friday.
Yeah.
Isn't all the schools?
That's right.
All the 5A and 4. Everybody has playoffs this weekend. So yeah, football season, man, it's amazing. And yet the NFL, are they even halfway through yet?
Week 9, I think.
So yeah, they're now. Boy, the Bears were sure disappointing yesterday. They had won 4 in a row, and then they're playing at Baltimore without Lamar Jackson, and they just didn't look very good. It was discouraging. I actually sit down to watch the game, and they play terribly. When I don't watch them, they win. So guess I'm just going to stop watching them.
Yeah.
NASCAR wraps up this weekend.
Oh.
And next weekend we start with our Heartlanders games.
Yeah, we got the Heartlanders host Fort Wayne on Wednesday.
You can have Ray do color with that guy?
No.
Have Ray do color with hockey.
No, we don't have it.
No. Yeah, I think you should have Ray. He'll do it for free.
I don't believe Ray.
My guess is
knows hockey very well.
He'd do it for free, I think.
I ain't paying him. I ain't
That's
doing
why I said
it for
free.
I ain't doing it for free. Nobody works for free here. I don't believe in it.
You don't believe in free workers?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. Hello.
Hi. I really hate it when everyone boos when the opposing team comes out.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, this is the first time I've seen an opposing team come out for the national anthem. I was so impressed. That and their wave at halftime. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, PJ does a lot of good things.
Yeah.
No, he does.
Yeah. But I had read something, and I don't know if this is AI or if this is really true, that the Penn State coach was complaining about all the noise, that they were well over what is allowed. I didn't know there was a restriction.
I don't believe there is.
No, there isn't a restriction.
No, there's not a restriction.
No.
Wasn't it? No. I think it was a couple of weeks or years ago when we were playing Penn State. And
see, that's James Franklin's
the neighborhood
problem.
Was complaining.
Well, the neighborhood always complains.
Yeah, so why buy a house over there?
I mean, the neighborhood does. It always complains.
Don't buy a house by Kinnick if you're not going to be able to deal with 7 Saturdays of the year being loud.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't buy a house over there.
But aren't we supposed to roar?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
Yes, the whole idea.
Yep.
All righty.
Hey, thanks for the call. Yeah.
I mean, LSU Stadium can be crazy. I mean, they call it Death Valley for a reason. I think that's Death Valley. And Clemson Stadium, no, that's the objective is to be as hostile as you can, but, you don't want to cross the line and what have you. But Iowa didn't even need the crowd Saturday. I mean, that game was over from the kickoff. I mean, Minnesota just never fired a shot. The fact that he went for a field goal down 34-0, I thought that was weak. Go for a first down and try to score a touchdown, but I guess he just didn't want to face the embarrassment of being shut out. But the embarrassment was already delivered. I mean, I didn't like that move by PJ. But no, PJ does do a lot of good stuff for the underprivileged. He's got a good heart, and he's done an okay job at Minnesota.
Well,
but
he's got a good team.
They seem like they just they just can only get so high under him. And that was Saturday was a huge step back for Minnesota. That was not good.
And they're 5-3 now, and they're liable to be 6-3 after this weekend
because
they're at home. Michigan State at home.
Yeah, they'll probably beat Michigan State at home.
6-3 is pretty.
Well, they're already bowl eligible, and there are 3 games left. He may get 8 wins out of this. 7-8 wins. My guess is he's going to beat Wisconsin in Minneapolis. So
I would guess
that would be 7 wins right there. Yeah. They're probably going to have another winning record.
Hello.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
There was a lot of Gopher fans up here that were after the game saying, well, this is Iowa's Super Bowl, so they really look forward to this game every year. I said it's not even in the top 2.
Well, I've had some people insist that Minnesota's Iowa's border rival. Minnesota doesn't consider Minnesota's rival is Wisconsin.
Yes.
But I've had people attack me before by saying Minnesota's not. They're not Iowa's big rival. They're a rival, yes, but I don't think they're any bigger than Wisconsin, Nebraska. I don't buy that. Iowa's Super Bowl.
I said, Wisconsin, Nebraska, and the Big Ten, and Iowa State. At best 4th. You're more like Illinois or Purdue. You play them once, and want to beat them.
Well, I'd rather beat Wisconsin and Nebraska than Minnesota. If you had to pick them,
me too.
I'd rather beat those 2 than Minnesota. That's just me.
Although I love getting Floyd.
Yeah, I like getting Floyd too.
Yeah, I was just kind of astounded at the reaction.
I
have not heard that before, and that's not true.
That's trying to find justification for getting your ass handed to you. Iowa Super Bowl.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thanks, BS.
But no, Minnesota, I know we hate Iowa, but Minnesota and Wisconsin has always kind of been that Iowa doesn't really have anyone that just noticeably is the rival. I mean, they've got a great rivalry, I think, with Minnesota, with Nebraska, with Wisconsin, and with Iowa State. I mean,
yet we don't with Illinois.
Well, because they don't play them enough.
Yeah,
I mean, they go years without playing Illinois. They play Wisconsin, Nebraska, and Minnesota pretty much every year now. They go 5. They can go 4 or 5 years without playing Illinois. And there's times where Illinois is not very good, and Illinois doesn't really emphasize football. And Brett's they're not. They're going to end up losing 4 or 5 games this year.
So they've been a little disappointing.
Well, they just lost at Washington, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've already got 3 or 4 defeats. But no, the Iowa-Illinois rivalry in football's never really happened because they just the circumstances haven't really played out for it to become a rivalry.
No, Illinois is 5-3, and they'll probably beat Rutgers at home this weekend.
6-3.
So they'll be 6-3 like Minnesota.
And they got Northwestern, but I'll tell you what, Northwestern almost won at Nebraska. That guy's done a hell of a job there. I mean,
Yes,
he's done a really good job of coaching there. It'll be interesting to see if his name ever gets mentioned for any jobs. I'm not hearing much about the UCLA opening right now. It'll be interesting to see if Brian Kelly and James Franklin are head coaches next year. I have a feeling both of them won't be, but who knows? I mean,
I have a feeling Franklin will be.
Well, he's not going to beat a blue blood.
Probably not.
No, he will not beat a blue blood.
Probably not.
I mean, when I say blue blood, Ohio State, Penn State, Tech. No. I mean, if Steve Sarkisian leaves Texas, which looks like it could happen, he's put feelers out in the NFL. I don't see Texas hiring James Franklin. That would go over like a fart in a closet, because they're going to be like, if you're 4-21 against Ohio State, against the top 5 teams at Penn State, that's not what Texas needs to be hiring. So it's going to be interesting to see. And Brian Kelly, I don't know. To me, he's played himself out of a blue blood hire at this stage. He had Notre Dame and LSU, and now I think if he gets to be a head coach again next year, it's going to be at a lesser program.
Yeah, and probably should.
Maybe it'll UCLA. Who knows?
Well, maybe.
I mean, so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, there's Florida, though. I keep forgetting Florida is a great job, and it's almost like it gets lost in the shuffle because Florida hasn't been good for a while.
Well, they haven't.
But I'll tell you, when Steve Spurrier was there, they were great.
Yes, they were. And Urban had some great teams.
Urban had some great teams there. Spurrier had some great teams there. But ever since Urban left, they've been pretty mediocre by Florida's standards. So it's going to be interesting. A lot of interesting coaching hires.
That sure will be. And
who's to know? Maybe Kirk retires after this year. I mean, that's always a possibility. Nobody knows for sure what he's going to do. There's always a chance that could happen. And if they end up making the playoff and he goes out, I could see him, what a way to go out. So we'll see.
We will see. Well, anything else, Mr. Harty? Thanks to Donnie Patterson,
thanks
as always.
To Coach P. Another great football lessons from Coach P. No, I think we've covered pretty much everything. Is there any breaking news?
Not that I saw. I looked on when we were on our break, and I didn't see anything.
Now I got to pick an athlete of the week, Hawkeye-wise. That's not going to be easy, man. I may go with a volleyball player there. I got to have a look and see exactly what the volleyball team. But for them to win back-to-back matches, they're 2 games over 500 now overall. I think they're up to maybe 3-7 or 4-7 in conference play. They're making some strides.
Small strides.
Small strides. They're moving in the right direction. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, there's so much to choose from. I mean, football-wise, if I was going to pick one Iowa football player to be the athlete of the week from football, I mean, God, who do you choose?
It'd be hard. Maybe Caden Weegan, maybe?
Possibly. But, I mean, I don't know. It'd be
Zach Lutmer, maybe?
Zach Lutmer is one I'm thinking about. But I have to look and see what volleyball did. And I know field hockey, they won. Soccer, I mean, no, it's a good weekend for Hawkeye sports.
It was. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. No police reports today. Molly Suter is next. HawkFanatic.com. Check it out. It's free.
KCJJ Weather, brought to you by Plum